Right, hello and welcome. So today we are going over the 1983 Toyota Corolla Levin, and we're going to be seeing how good it is in Gran Turismo 7, as well as the new engine swap that can go into this vehicle. But firstly, we need to start off with how the vehicle feels standard. So starting off, well, the vehicle produces 127 brake horsepower and comes in at a weight of 940 kgs. So the vehicle is lightweight, but it is very underpowered. But for the time, this was not meant to be a very high horsepower vehicle. No, because in May of 1983, the Corolla became front wheel drive, but the sports model was offered as front engine rear wheel drive and known as the AE8 Corolla Levin. Now the 86 became popular as it was the last lightweight front engine rear wheel drive car. Now the engine was the newly developed 1.6 liter for a GE instead of a dual overhead cam inline 4. This meant that the car had a max power output of 128.2 brake horsepower. Now yes, the pickup of the light engine combined with the sharp responsive steering provided an incredible driving feeling, and that's what really won over the hearts of everyone who got behind the wheel of this car. So when you actually want to feel or experience this car in Gran Turismo 7, well, I'll be real with you, it's gonna be underwhelming. Because with the vehicle being bone stock, it is extremely slow, painfully slow in fact, because we see at the end of Kyoto Driving Park straight away that we are traveling at about 165 kilometers per hour before we need to slam on the brakes to make it around the first corner. And when I tell you, this car is not meant for tracks with long straightaways. It's meant for a circuit with a lot of turns and is just very small. It is perfect for Tsukuba. Now the only real time I could see you using this car is when you are starting out in the game, because that's really the only place that I could have seen this vehicle really being used, because it doesn't have the oomph to really be competitive anywhere else in the game. Unless you actually like this Corolla, then you would actually want to drive it. So let's say now you aren't impressed, because you shouldn't be impressed by the performance standard. Around Kyoto Driving Park, we see that this vehicle sits in lap times around the 2-minute 14.5 second mark, which is very slow. So now if we head on over to the tuning shop and start spending a lot of credits, well, then we can bump up the performance to now have 313 brake horsepower and lower the weight to 808 kgs. So once we finish do that, head on over to GT Auto and add a few body mods to this vehicle to just improve the looks and just add a bit more downforce to just aid it in cornering. Well, after that we can take on circuit, and the first thing you're gonna notice with it having a lot more power, it's a lot more fun. We see that down here also driving power straight away we are now doing 230 before we need to slam on the brakes, and the car on racing soft tires, it does not step out whatsoever. It is extremely grippy and you're able to really just push it and really send this vehicle to the corners as fast as you want to, and you don't really have to stress about ending up in a barrier. The only thing you really need to watch out for is your braking points, because if you brake too late, yeah, you are gonna go into that wall, so just be wary about that. But overall, this vehicle, it is very responsive when it comes to steering inputs, and you feel at one when driving this vehicle. And in the first person interior cam, well, it's just honestly a fun experience, because we see that the digital rev counter or speedo actually tops out at 180 kilometers per hour, and the fact that we're able to just keep traveling as this thing is maxed out, I just find so funny. But overall, it's such a nice interior in this car. You can really see the detail that they went through to actually bring it to life. Now enough about the interior, actual lap times. Around Toyota Driving Park, you will now see this vehicle set lap times around a 1 minute 42.2 second mark, which look is a hell of a lot faster than stock, but it's still not going to be considered that fast of a vehicle, and that's when the engine swap comes into play. Yes, this engine swap for the Toyota Corolla Levin is actually from the Toyota MR2. So for 135,000 credits, you can then go in and swap the engine to be 3SG GTE powered. Now after engine swapping the car, I then decided to throw on a wide body kit that's actually based off of the TRD into body kits. So unlike most of the body kits in Gran Turismo 7 where they just basically stretch out the fenders, this is actually the most meaty body kit that I've seen in a very long time. So it adds our track width, so then we can add on other pieces to just increase the downforce of the Toyota. So from there we can then head on over to the tuning shop and increase the power of this now MR2 powered Corolla. And we now see that the power figure ends up at 471 brake horsepower and a weight of 864 kgs. So we see that we did gain a bit of weight, but we also added a bit of power, so it should balance out. And now when it comes to driving this vehicle around Toyota Driving Park, it is an absolute blast. The vehicle, let me just get this out of the way, sets lap times around the 1 minute 35.5 second mark. Now look, this may not be the fastest lap times out there, but the fact that the Toyota Corolla is just rapid to be around. The thing is, the response from the steering, from the brakes, the input of it, it's such a feisty, it's a ferocious little car that is so, it has so much grunt behind it. Plus, so with this engine, it absolutely screams because it is an extremely high revving RPM vehicle. We see that if we look at the dial on screen right now, it has an RPM limit of 9,000. It is an absolute screamer, and we hear that coming down the straightaways. But the vehicle has so much pep in its step. The minute you get on the accelerator, the minute you start putting the power down, it is there. It is so, how do I say, mesmerizing, the driving experience behind the Toyota Corolla. I know, yes, it doesn't have 1,000 horsepower, it's not going to be the best when it comes to endurance events. Look, it doesn't even get near the 800 performance points mark, but sometimes you don't need that out of a vehicle. You don't want all of your cars being maxed out. A vehicle like this really brings back the simplicity and shows you, look, you don't need a bajillion horsepower to have fun in Gran Turismo 7. And that is what I love about this engine swap. We have under 500 horsepower, a vehicle that is extremely lightweight, and we see that it is very fast. The vehicle, if you throw it around a very technical circuit, I said Tsukuba earlier, and I'm gonna bring it up again, if you take it around that circuit, you are gonna have an absolute blast. And the Toyota Corolla, yes, it may not be the fastest thing down the straightaway, but throw some corners in front of it and you are gonna end up with a massive smile on your face. And the thing is, on racing soft tires, it is so grippy that you're able to really just push it and send it, but you can still get hints of the rear end stepping out if you do push it too hard. So yes, you will be having an absolute blast, so much fun once you get behind the wheel of this engine swap Corolla. And the thing is, this isn't even an extremely expensive engine swap. This has to be one of the, I want to say the most fun, but an entertaining and exhilarating engine swap that really left me enjoying myself and using it more than once. It isn't an engine swap that I'm going to be like, oh okay, I'm going to touch it now. This, behind a racing wheel, is so much fun. So with that being said, I want to hear your thoughts, your opinions on this engine swap. And with all this being said, thank you so much for watching, thank you so much for your time, and I will see you guys in the next Gran Turismo 7 video. Peace.